Welcome to the Happy, Healthy Life Podcast with your hosts, Rob and Randy, who reveal the truth, the lies, and confusion about health so that you are no longer the victim to mainstream medical dogma and you are the hero to your own happy, healthy story.
If you want long-lasting health, you need more than a meal plan.
Yeah, you need a framework for life. Today we're sharing the 6 pillars that form the foundation of living the happy, healthy life.
Welcome back to the Happy Healthy Life Podcast with your host, Rob and
Randy.
And we are
The Happy Healthy Guys.
Yeah, this is great. In these pillars that we're going to be talking about today, we really got from just looking at what it is that we had been doing in our life to create a happy, healthy life, and how we even came to develop this program. And I think we could be able to even talk a little bit more about the backstory on that. And then a lot of things that we've learned through our mentors, through people that we've learned from and respected, as well as even what we learned from being in the blue zones that we've been talking about on the last few episodes. And we truly believe that as long as you are following these pillars of health, that you too can be living your happiest, healthiest life. And that really is the outcome that we want for everybody. The outcome isn't to live as long as possible when you feel like you're dying for a longer period of time. The goal really is to live life well and have the ability to be able to live life well.
Yeah, just breathing isn't necessarily the best clinical outcome. What do they say in America? We die longer and we live shorter. They've got machines and medications to keep organs pushing and keep you breathing. But, most people, and, we've said this before, we've been in, rooms all over the world at this point, thousands of people, doctors, we've asked them, in this room, if you could live to be 100 years old, who in here would want to do that? And not a lot of hands go up. And the reason being is if they already feel this sick at 30, 40, 50, or 60, how in the world why would you want to live to be 100 if you're already miserable? And then how the heck would you even afford to even be alive that long when we know not having your health is the worst thing that can happen, and it's the number one cause of bankruptcy. But if you knew you could live your best life, which really is the normal way you should age, then when we reframe it, everybody's like, well, yeah, I would want to live to be 100. And if you were going to live to be at 100, and maybe you will, we don't know. We don't know when you're going to die. When should you start taking care of yourself? At 99, 98, 97? Right now.
It's right now. And I feel like everybody knows that. They just don't know what to do, or they don't have the things that we've been talking about before, which is community, accountability. They don't know that they're going to do something that is going to guarantee the result that they're going to get. And then they just don't have the roadmap. So the first pillar, and this is something, and I'll never forget when if you listen to the last episode, we were talking about the village feast, the village party that we went to in Saolo, Italy, and we interviewed Giovanni. And we were asking him, why is it that he's been able to live this long, happy, healthy life at 92 years young? And he just started going through all of the different things that are in alignment with these pillars. And the first thing that he said is, you've got to have a belief in something bigger. You've got to have a belief in a creator, and not just a belief, but a connection to something greater than us. And I would say that for us, that number one pillar is that belief in God being that creator
no question.
of all of us. And there is absolutely a connection. And it doesn't matter what it is that you read. If you read the Bible, you look at even all of the world's religions, that's the common denominator with all of them, is that there is something that created us that is bigger than us. And truly having a connection to that's got to be pillar number one.
Has to be. Yeah, we are intelligently designed. And
Yeah.
we know as believers that we're made in the image of God. We're fearfully and wonderfully made. There's a real connection to that if you truly get that. The kingdom of heaven is within. And I quote this scripture all the time, and it's not even a religious statement out of 1 John 4:4 in the Bible, that the greatest doctor in the world is inside of you, which greater is he that's in you than he that's in the world. We are hardwired to heal. There is an innate intelligence within us. We don't know anything else. Your body is always working on your behalf. This is not only a kingdom principle, it is an absolute. It's a major premise. This is a foundational belief that we have seen that is consistent with anybody who's living a healthy life, definitely well into their 70s, 80s, and 90s. They don't think about dying, they think about living.
They do. And even, and it goes back even biblically speaking, if you're going to read, it's got an amazing stuff. I know I went on this deep dive last year where I was looking up even these writings in the Bible and looking at the consistency with even the creation of Earth and the stars and what it is that our bodies are made of and just the connection of all of those things. And it was mind blowing
Yeah.
to be able to see how exactly in aligned everything is. But one of my favorite verses is Romans 12:1, where it says to honor your body as a living
Mm,
sacrifice, holy and pleasing to the Lord. That is your spiritual act of worship. What does that mean? It means that taking care of our bodies is really our true act of worship back to this creator,
that's
right?
good.
Honoring this creator. And I think about it when we look at our bodies, how, like you just said, wonderfully and fearfully made, but wonderfully, there's more than 70 whatever trillion cells in the body that know exactly what to do and when to do it. And when you even look at the cells and the symmetry of everything under a microscope, there is an intelligent design there. It's kind of like in, I think it was in, if you're listening, you have no idea about these things called the green books. But green books are books that were written by the founders of chiropractic, and we're both chiropractors by profession. And one of the stories in these green books that they were writing about all these principles that are, regardless of what your religious belief is, they're true. It's kind of like gravity is a principle,
Yeah.
regardless of who it is or what you believe. If you jump off of a 12-story building, you are going to fall straight down.
Yeah, there are
Okay?
immutable laws, right?
Immutable laws,
Yeah.
nothing to believe in.
Yeah.
And they tell the story of the watchmaker, right? You wear this watch on your wrist, and it's got all of these intricate parts on it. If you've got like any kind of watch, even today you flip it over backwards and you can see the inner workings
Yep.
of this watch. You see all these things happening inside there. And you're not telling the watch to tell time for you, but there was an intelligent watchmaker that designed that watch, and he put it all together with this
Hmm.
intelligence. And that's the same, we've got this intelligence that put our entire bodies together like that. And he created it in a way that when we talk, for example, about metabolism and the way metabolic function happens inside the cell, where you've got this engine inside there, this mitochondria inside there that creates, that takes whatever it is that we put into our bodies. And then it takes that food or nutrients and it creates energy out of that. I mean, there's got to be an intelligence that made that all happen.
No,
It's
it's just random billiard
there,
balls.
yeah, this random explosion that
Yeah,
happened that
yeah,
made
give
that
me a break,
happen.
man. Come on. It
That's
takes more
that's
faith to believe in that. And that's part of the medical reductionist mechanistic mindset where there isn't an intelligent design, right? That it's this Newtonian philosophy that we're broken, that we're victims. But man, we're not. We're built for so much more than that. So I love this conversation because this is where the real healing happens. And this is how you play this longevity play out is there is no thing, there's no more healing required. Your job now is to honor God with your body and seek those things out. That's really what we've taught and built out in the Happy Healthy Lives system, right? it's remarkable what can happen when you change and create that environment where you're removing interference to the best doctor in the world who lives right inside of you.
Right, which is right in
Yeah.
alignment with pillar number two, and that's your mind, your thoughts, right?
Yeah.
Your thoughts are reality. If you believe that you're sick, we already know that the body keeps score. You are telling your body that you are sick, and your body is going to believe
You
that.
got it.
It's what is your mind thinking? Is your mind thinking that you were created to be sick, or is your mind thinking that you were created to be healthy?
Yeah.
We look at the body and we ask, how healthy are you? And where is that health coming from? Versus an allopathic model would look at you and go, um, why are you sick? Where are you sick? They're looking at your body as you are supposed to be sick.
Yeah, they're naming you with the disease, which really is just a subset of symptoms, which is the therapeutic healing response. You know, the mindset is more powerful than reality. There's no question about it. In fact, they talk about we look forward to one day where nobody will ever be diagnosed with cancer ever again. Well, you know how that happens? Stop going to doctors and letting them diagnose you with cancer.
Yeah,
Because
because
when they
that's your
name you,
identity.
when they name you with that disease, it's paralyzing, it strikes fear, and they tell you how long you have to live. What do you think's going to happen when they name you with the condition? That's now your identity, and they've actually given you the amount of time you have to live as if they were God. Interesting.
Yeah, so that's where mindset is huge. You got to put yourself around people who have a healing and a healthy mindset,
Yes.
right? And then nervous system is the next pillar, pillar number three. You got to make sure that you've got a healthy functioning nervous system because your brain, which is part of your nervous system, is what controls and animates every single cell, tissue, and organ function inside your body. So it better be healthy. As you know, as having our being chiropractors by profession, that was our number one healing profession. Our number one healing principle is that the brain controls every single thing inside your body, which is why we get regular chiropractic care to be able to make sure that our brain and our nervous system are functioning as close to 100% as possible, to make sure that those organ systems are working as close to 100% as possible. Just had a chiropractic checkup yesterday for myself. I know that you get chiropractic care on a regular basis as well, and that's one of the things that we probably don't talk about enough is the
Yeah.
importance of that.
Yeah, speaking of intelligent design, we do live our life through our nervous system, the brain and the spinal cord. Your brain is connected to all the organ systems through this amazing spinal cord and connecting nerves. And it's the only organ system in the entire human body that's fully encased in bone. Because if you injure it, we know it's devastating. And so postural alignment, taking care of your spine, I don't want the one thing that protects the organ that I live my life through to deteriorate, to hunch over, to become rigid where I can't move and I lose range of motion. And now my body can no longer communicate back and forth through the nervous system. That right there is a huge piece. And you're right. We don't talk about it enough. And it's not a belief system. The nervous system is where your body really does control and coordinate all health and healing. And there's nothing more important than a strong spine, strong posture, and a clear nerve supply.
Amen to that. All right, pillars four and five, and they go together, is metabolism in making sure that you've got happy, healthy hormones inside your body.
Yeah.
We can't stress that enough. I mean, your metabolism, meta being transformation, ball being beginning of life, ism is a system. It's a system that your body uses to be able to transform whatever comes in to being able to heal and repair and get you back to as close as you were from the beginning of life as possible. That was when we were perfect. And how it is that we were just talking about, created by God and fearfully and wonderfully made. And metabolism is a huge role. But one of the things that can wreck your body's metabolism is when your hormones are not balanced or your hormones are wrecked, because your hormone, they've got in your body, you've got a hormone cascade. You can't affect one hormone without affecting all of them. And if they ain't working right, your metabolism's not working right, and that's going to make it virtually impossible to be able to be at if you're looking at it from a weight perspective, to be able to be at a healthy weight.
Yeah, and the medical community has made this very complicated and siloed out all these doctors and organ systems and hormones and specialists. Yet you have more people going to doctors, more people that are, quote, hormonally out of balance on medications, and we're just not doing any better on any level. We're not doing better. These are the facts. We have to face it, and I think it's because we're looking for answers in all the wrong places. It does go back to having a healthy metabolic foundation. So when we talk about hormones, most people think about sex hormones, right? You think about testosterone, estrogen, progesterone. Listen, fantastic. The hormones are great. If that's even a real thing, I don't even know anymore. Here's what I do know. I'm going to stick with what I can see. But here's what I know is when you have a healthy metabolism, you're going to balance and you're going to create a strong metabolic profile with your metabolic hormones. These are things that we know, things like insulin, glucagon, leptin, cortisol, adrenaline, adiponectin. The metabolic hormones lay the foundation for all hormone function. This is why being outside, circadian rhythm, sunlight, earthing, nutrient dense food, avoiding artificial light, sitting in front of computer screens all day long, all these things matter, and all the things that we talk about matter because metabolic health is a vital pillar to everything we've talked about. And when you know the greatest doctors on the inside of you, and you know that you've got that strong, clear nervous system, that metabolic health working in coordination with all of that, it really creates a situation where you're going to be able to achieve a certain level of health that very few people ever achieve. And it's not doing more things, it's less interference.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah, I hope everybody listening got that. It's not doing more things. If we're good at doing anything, it's doing way too, man. I say we, I'm just talking about people as a whole.
Yeah.
It's doing too many things and doing too many things that are messing you up. Okay. Last but not least is pillar number 6. Pillar number 6 is rest and repair. Gosh, rest is so important. You talk to anybody these days and you ask them, how are you? What's the thing that people always say back?
I'm tired.
Or I'm tired, or I'm busy.
Or I'm busy.
I'm busy, and that's what made you tired, right?
And that doesn't mean you're productive. What are you busy doing?
What are you busy doing? Too many things, and you're not allowing your body the time that it needs to be able to heal, rest, and repair. And I know for us, that was one of the things that we focused on really hard the last time that we did our Happy Healthy for Life program, was kind of what created these pillars right here. And what the Happy Healthy for Life program was, we had taken people either to Ischia, Italy. We've been talking about these retreats, and we've got one that's going to be coming up here soon. And then we also went to Tulum, and these people that were really wanting more hands-on, like, what do I do every single day? Like when I wake up in the morning, what do I do? How do you guys live your day? So we created this Happy Healthy for Life program, and we took people through what it is that we were doing on a daily basis. We even gave them, they had access to our cell phone numbers, and over 90 days, we'd be having conversations back and forth with them. We were meeting with them every single week. We were introducing them to people that we work personally with, that are our personal mentors. We talked about all the different things that they could be doing in order to, and like I said, the biggest focus to be able to make sure that their body was more in a constant, or in more of in a consistent state of rest and repair all day long. And we had things like we talked about our brain tapping, and the importance of relaxing your mind in the middle part of the day. We were relaxing our minds at the very beginning of the day, the middle part of the day, and at night. We were doing this when we had our friend Christian Drapeau from STEM Regen was a part of that program as well. Many other people were part of that program, but the whole goal was to be able to make sure that the body was in a constant state, or a consistent state of rest and repair.
Yeah, it's being in that fight or flight sympathetic stress response versus that parasympathetic where you are relaxing, where you're repairing, where your body isn't under constant stress that you can't adapt to. So how many people now are diagnosed with adrenal fatigue, high cortisol, thyroid issues, what Hashimoto's, thyroiditis. There's so many thyroid and endocrine organ issues, and it's all really because people are stressed out and they're not adapting to stress, going back to having a healthy metabolism, and why sleep is so important, and your circadian rhythms that are set by being in nature, right? Being in nature and being in gratitude, vitamin G, these are pillars.
Mm-hmm.
These are huge pillars to longevity and optimal health and the happy, healthy life. And so you can't minimize this one enough. And that's one of the things that what our program that we created for metabolic health has been able to do, is to help shift people out of the stress response where they're no longer adapting into abundance, no longer scarcity, abundance, where you're not counting calories, you're not starving yourself, you're not living in the gym thinking you have to work out perfectly and eat nothing to deserve to be at a good weight. It's really laying out a foundation where eating's no longer a sin, metabolism is at a premium, nervous system is clear, mindset is strong, and you know the greatest doctor's inside of you. That right there creates an incredible environment where great things are way more likely to happen.
Yeah, even as you were talking, it was just making me even think back to myself personally, where I'm thinking I need to even go back for myself personally and go back into that Happy Healthy for Life program.
Yeah.
There's even some things that I was doing before that I've forgotten about that I need to reincorporate back into my daily regimen for certain, and get back to that and have the accountability for that. So I'm ready to go back to Ischia or Chile, Mexico, but also get back into those practices. And I think if you're listening out there, you know that there's one thing that you could be doing right now that you're not doing. I would encourage you to go back and do that one thing. And I'm thinking of the one thing that I should be doing on a regular basis that I kind of just slacked off on. And it's doing my brain tap to be able to get my body into a meditative state a lot easier and more simply. And I know that helps us to be able to adapt to life better, puts us in a better healing environment. So that's what I'm going to do. And
I'm going to make sure I breathe through my nose and make sure I don't mouth breathe, and I'm going to hum more. That's how I'm going to relax my parasympathetic and be more in gratitude. So yeah, nose breathing, humming, gratitude, early morning sunlight in the eyes, feet on the ground.
Love it.
Foundational principles. They're not woo-woo. And remember, medicine wants you to think that it's complicated, and they use big words to scare you. It's just to divert you from the reality is that you're not broken and that health isn't as hard as they want you to think that it is. It is your birthright. It is the normal. We are intelligently and beautifully designed. And I love knowing that the greatest doctor doesn't live in Dallas, doesn't live in Toronto, lives right here inside of me and every one of us listening right now.
There you go. So thank you once again for listening to the Happy Healthy Life podcast. And you know what? Like it, share it, review it. If you need anything or have any questions, you can always hit us up on Instagram. It's the easiest way, at the H2 Life. That's at the number 2 life .com, but at the H2 Life. Yeah. All right. Thanks again.
All right.
We will see you again here soon.
Thanks for listening to the Happy Healthy Life podcast. If you enjoy the show, make sure to follow them on Instagram at the H2 Life or on YouTube and Facebook at the Happy Healthy Guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and review the show wherever you listen to podcasts.